right, we got Angela Hill here. First time here with us on MMA Oddsbreaker. It's usually I don't hit a manager up and go, look, I need to get a hold of your fighter. I need to talk to her after a loss. Usually you only do that after a win. And then I hit Brian up. Literally, I think he was walking down into the cage with Felice, I think. When I texted him, I was like, I want to get Angela on.
Oh,
You
nice.
you got a crap ton of more fans by the way that you fought. And it kind of seemed like when first you're supposed to go into the UFC, you're like, yeah, I'm ready to go. They were signing you to get ready to happen. And then USADA stepped in and was like, no, you can't come in. You have to wait this period of time. It seemed like you shook that off. Like it didn't seem like that situation really bothers you that much, at least social network wise and publicly, which you kind of put out there. But what was it like at home with you and your husband when you were like, hey, babe, I'm in. Crap, I'm not. Like, how did that situation come about?
Well, I think the biggest thing for me with that, the reason why it was so upsetting is because I had already talked about going back into the UFC to fight someone else. They literally signed like the entire like strawweight roster of Invicta that week. You know, talking about filling in for the Justine fight, but I had just fought a 5 round fight, and that fight camp was pretty rough. Like, I ended up like injuring my foot a couple of times, like during the camp. So I couldn't take that fight. So I was like, shit, I really want one more fight this year, and I could have done it. And it would have been awesome to like win 5 fights in a row in 1 year and make my return to the UFC. And so when I got that offer for the New Year's card, it was literally like, oh man, I can't believe this is happening. Like, this is awesome. And we were really close to just like sealing the deal when I got the call from Brian about the USADA thing. So that's why it was so upsetting, because I had already decided like this is how I'm gonna end 2016. Like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna fight number 5 ranked strawweight. I'm gonna fuck her up. I'm
Yeah.
gonna win, and it's gonna be like the most amazing comeback story ever. So when that didn't happen, it was really upsetting for me. But the just the fact that I was able to get the same matchup and be able to fight sooner than 4 months just kind of like erased all that. So I was pretty happy with the way everything turned out when it came to like that whole situation.
I know it's happened to other athletes coming in to the UFC, but it happened to BJ Penn. He got stalled for his comeback, and then it happened to you. And I immediately was thinking, look, they got to change this rule. Like, it doesn't make any sense, for someone to have to be on the roster for 4 months if they haven't ever tested positive any other time. Like, this doesn't make any understanding for me as a fan. Like, I just don't understand why they would do that. And
Yeah.
then I guess they came out with later and said, okay, so the deal is if you were in the UFC under the protocol and left, it's a 4 month wait when you come back. But if you've never been with the UFC, you can come back in right away. Do you feel like that's a more fair policy than what they were doing before?
Um. Well, I think now like the whole rule is just like null and void. Like, everyone is being brought back in the same way, and
Okay.
there's no this or that. And I think that was the dumbest thing about it, was the fact that you know someone fighting an Invictor, fighting like some other like regional show or something like that, could easily be getting away with like taking tons of steroids and and never
Yeah.
get caught. So the fact that you had already been part of the USADA program, and especially in my case, I left against my will. Like, they were like, "Bye,"
Yeah.
It's not like I was like, I'm retiring, and then I had this big scheme to take steroids for a year. So I think it just didn't really make sense. It was unfair for former fighters, especially because like those are the guys who are banking on those last minute replacement fights to get their call back into the UFC. So yeah, it was like a really
You were saying that it was a really rough situation trying to, I'm ready to fight end of the year. Now I'm stuck. I can't fight. But I wanted to raise one issue though. So like the new rule, and I really think it's the Angela Hill rule. Like, it really is. Like, you can tell you're not doing steroids. You passed the eye test. You've obviously never had a problem. And then this is like a big payday for you, more so than what you're getting in Invicta, obviously. And then all of a sudden, no, you can't fight. Well, that kind of screws up Christmas, New Year's. that messes up tax season because you got to be able to pay your. I mean, it messes up a lot of things if you can't get back in. And
Yeah.
but you seem to handle it pretty well. But then you guys like Brock Lesnar, who get away with not having the 4 month, ban or whatever the 4 month holding period. He gets in and fails the test, and
Mm-hmm.
then runs away. He's like, well, I'm just gonna go back to pro wrestling. So I get what you're saying. Like, hey, look, there's a lot of guys who are like, yeah, I'm not going to fight for a while. I'm going to go do something else, take a bunch of steroids for a year, and then come back clean ish. But
Mm-hmm.
then, so I kind of get both sides of the coin. But I was super happy when you were able to come in and that you're actually able to fight, and they waived it for you.
Yeah.
I got to ask, you didn't win, obviously, but you fought your
Nope.
ass off and looked good fighting.
Thank
What
you.
what was the game plan when you went in?
The game plan was to just kind of keep her at a distance and just keep working her. Just like it was pretty much the same as every game plan that I've had since going to Invicta, just trying to put on trying to be a technician basically, to put on a good show and just show my striking skills. So like distance was a big part of it, and just trying to capitalize off of when she would like really just reel back for her like 50 hook combinations.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I felt like it worked really well in the first round, but then I still have to go back and watch it. I've only seen like little clips. um but yeah, like I was really surprised she was just able to keep that pace up the whole fight. Because it's a tiring thing just coming forward just like with power shots the entire 15 minutes. That's like pretty impressive. So yeah, I think there's little adjustments that I could have made that might have just kind of worked better, kind of clocked her. I felt like I wobbled her a few times,
Mhm.
and I definitely felt like I dropped her in the third. So there's like a few techniques that I wasn't super confident about that I could have thrown more in the fight now that I know that they worked.
Mhm. Yeah.
After like feeling them work, like I'm like shit, I should have thrown that like maybe one or two times, and I feel like I really would have like got her chin. But yeah, I think the game plan was mostly just like being a technician and keeping her at bay with the longer strikes, and when she came in, just trying to like hit her on the chin with the knees and stuff, and working the punch a little more. So
You took a lot of shots, and it seemed like the further the
yeah,
fight went along, the less and less defense you had, and the more almost it wasn't like your hands were tired and you were keeping them down. It was almost like I need her to start throwing at me so I can throw back and catch her. And the only way
yeah.
I'm gonna do that is if I give her my head and let her have it. And you seem to be right in that middle zone where if I was just a half inch further away, she'd miss completely. But because I'm
Uh,
trying to hit her at the same time, I'm right in her zone. You kept getting tagged. Was there any point where you're like, all right, I really got to change game plans because I'm starting to get rocked. Like I'm really starting to get hurt.
nah, it's like the way I feel like I probably got rocked like once or twice, but the way I was slipping the punches, like it kind of looked like I was getting hurt more than I was. Like if you watch the slow mo, like a lot of them were just kind of hitting the top of my head, but they would hit the top of my head as I would like kind of roll under the punch, and it looks like I'm going like wobbly or whatever. But yeah, it's like she spams a lot, so like nothing hits in the same spot at the same time, or nothing hits the same spot more than once. So it would be like shoulder, forehead, eye, ribs, instead of like just going for chin every time. So I felt like it looked worse than it was when it came to the amount of damage that I took. But also I keep my chin tucked pretty tight
Yeah.
I strike. So a lot of the shots that might have dropped some people didn't necessarily drop me, just because I was able to keep my head from moving too much when I did get clocked. But yeah, like she definitely hit hard. She was. I think just her weight was able to push me back more than anything. Just like there's some people, like even when you're sparring, you punch them and you fall backwards. It was kind of
Yeah.
like that a few times. where like just her pressure and her weight was just like throwing me off and pushing me back when I kind of wanted to stay in her face more. So yeah, I think punishment wise, like I didn't get too much brain
Yeah.
damage.
Good.
Mostly superficial. But yeah, I think the way she fights, she definitely has a good chance of knocking out Joanna, just because I feel like what Carolina Kowalskiewicz
Yeah. Nice. Good. Because I can't say it. Good.
what she hit her with and what Claudia hit her with to drop her wasn't as wasn't as hard as what Andrade might hit her with. But at the same time, like yeah, she spams combos, so she may not be as precise. She may
Yeah.
miss a lot. So yeah, I think that's gonna be. Like,
Okay. So your fight was last Saturday. This is now Tuesday. What are you doing this week? What is your week? Is it a week off? Is it 2 weeks off? Is it I'm back in the gym tomorrow? Like what is your week like?
I was trying to go back Monday, but my face is still swollen. I don't know. Like, I'll probably like. I'm actually supposed to be teaching my husband's classes right now because he just had ACL surgery. So I'll be back tomorrow, probably teaching, just teaching the Muay Thai classes, and then I'll probably get back to it. So just me around again. But yeah, I'll a little nothing, nothing crazy. Like, oh, what is that?
Well, with your husband laid up because of his ACL, there's no vacation plans. There's no let's go to Disneyland for a weekend and screw around.
I
Obviously, because he can't do
know.
anything. He's kind of stuck.
Well, he can do a little bit. Like he's hobbling around. He's been taking care of me. Now that I'm all like, give me ice. So like, make me a drink. So, so it takes like twice as long as it usually would. But he'll just like hobble over, hobble over to the fridge and make me stuff and stuff. So yeah, we can afford a vacation. Like there's the MMA awards
Yep.
uh in March, so we're gonna go to that and have some fun in Vegas. Maybe do a little more walking, test the leg out, and then
Yeah.
yeah, hopefully by the next fight we can do something really fun.
That'd be nice, Angela. It
Yeah.
was so great to finally get to interview you. It's amazing that how good you looked, and really you got. I was in a house full of well, a bar full of people that didn't really know much about you, and I'm like,
Uh,
no, you got to watch this girl. Like, they showed your weigh-in photo where you're dressed as Sagat, and then they went back and like, what is she doing? Like, what's the deal? And I'm like, this is her cosplay. This is what she does for her
yeah.
weigh-ins, and that makes fans like pay attention. They started watching the fight, and they were like, they couldn't believe these are people that don't understand. They're new fans of the sport. They're not old
Yeah.
school, so they didn't know like how can she keep taking those hits? And oh my gosh, it's amazing. I'm like, like, well, it's really not that bad, guys. Like, a lot of it, like you said, it's going off my shoulder, going off my head. It looks a lot
That's
worse than it
okay.
actually is. So,
Yeah, experienced people say the same thing. They're like, "Oh my god!" Like I was pissed because after the first round, the ref comes up or the official comes up to me and he's like, "Are you okay? Do you know where you are?" I'm like, "Yeah, no, the fuck I am." Like, are you serious? Wasn't that bad? I
well,
answered. Go ask her that. But yeah,
that's funny. I
yeah,
didn't realize the official did that to you because we don't, at home, obviously, when I'm watching it, we don't get that look. We don't get that the
yeah,
immediate
yeah.
corner look, so I missed it. Usually, when I'm there, I'm watching it closer, and I actually look what the corners are doing. And at home, you
Mm.
can't see any of that stuff. It's just what you're at the mercy of the director telling which camera to put on. So,
Yeah, exactly.
but it was awesome
That's
watching you fight.
really cool.
Even though it was a loss, you did a great job. I think your rank will go higher, even though you lost. I think obviously at the bar that I was at, you gained about 50 new friends or 50 new fans because they watched you fight and like
Nice.
so. And one more question before you get out of here. It kind of comes to the one I wanted to bring to. You're very entertaining. The way you do your weigh-ins, the way you do everything, and then now because the way you lost, you were very entertaining. And like I said, you got 50 more fans just from the way you lost. Do you feel like you have to be more entertaining than actually be a winning fighter now because the way that the sport has progressed? Or is it still more important to win all the time as opposed to being entertaining?
well, it's still a spectator sport, like yeah, like if it comes down to winning or losing and you have that choice, be exciting or win, then then of course you're gonna probably pick win. But I don't know. I don't know. I've been critical
You're
of
lying.
people for being boring when
You're
they
lying. You're lying right to my face. Because if
I
you had a
know.
choice between being exciting or winning, you're choosing exciting every single time. Every time you're choosing exciting. You don't care
Yeah.
about the win. You only care about being exciting.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just the way I am. Like it's like when if you're like, I don't know, hitting a bag and then someone walks by, it was like an empty room before and someone walks by, like you're gonna start throwing the flying knees and overhands, right? Like you're not just
Yeah.
gonna like keep keep working on your jab. But
You're
but
right.
yeah, yeah,
You're
I
right.
think being exciting is a huge part of it. If you want to be a fan favorite, like if you're just there to like make money and support your kids and you know uh and have a job, like then that's one way to look at it, and I respect that because like longevity in this sport is a big deal. Like you can only fight a certain way for so amount of years if you're taking a ton of brain damage when you're doing it. But at the same time I feel like there are people who just coast and when they could be putting on more exciting fights, so they could be like opening up a bit more and showing people what they could do, making MMA look more like an art, uh despite what Meryl Streep says, and just like
Well,
make it
okay.
fun.
Let's talk about Meryl for a second.
Uh-oh.
Let's get her off the hook. Let's take her off the noose. Right. Let's get her on the gallows. Because her point wasn't that, and let's be honest. Yeah, yes, karate. There's an art form to karate. There's an art form to judo. There's an art form in taekwondo. There's no art in MMA. It is a fucking fight. You are
Yeah.
out there in a street fight. There's no art in that. It's
Yeah, yeah.
survival of the fittest. It's not get our asses kicked. And
Mm-hmm.
yes, football, same thing. Was it a great game on Sunday? Was it amazing to watch the Patriots come back from 21-3 going into the second half? You're obviously not a football fan, but yeah, it was a great game. But there was no art involved. There's no art
Yeah,
in there.
yeah.
So her point is that like yeah, we're going to lose the arts if you want to deport all these foreign actors and actresses. And I get her point. She wasn't picking on MMA.
Yeah,
She mentioned MMA because her agents are who now own the UFC, so it's right in her face. She's like thinking about it when
yeah,
she walked out. So it's
yeah. No, Meryl wasn't on my bad side, but I think the reason so many people were offended was because MMA would be just as affected, just as fucked, if they started deporting all these international,
more
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 fucked.
so
Yeah,
more so
exactly.
because
So I think
of
that's
the
why people were offended because like it was like she had everyone in the MMA community on her side until that little
until that
comment, and then
until
we're just
that
like, oh, fuck, come on, we're dealing with the same shit.
yeah.
Come on. But yeah, no, I
She could have mentioned hockey, like she could have
yeah,
mentioned soccer, like baseball, anything, just not MMA. Yeah, like
football. They don't play that in other places.
yeah, it's
uh,
I got to double check the roster, but it's a pretty high percentage. I want to say it's 80%, but of the 500 athletes underneath the UFC, I got to think more than half are foreigners to
oh,
the
yeah,
United States. So it's like
definitely.
you're losing half your roster if all of a sudden they do a complete close down. Yeah, it crushes them,
Yeah.
it destroys
I
us.
mean, let's look at the champs and see. Like, there's
Yeah.
only like a couple like American champs. So, yeah.
Well,
But
in the women's as of right now, no American champs, right? Nope.
mm,
And then in the men, one,
Woodley.
yeah.
Oh, DJ.
Oh yeah. Oh, Demetrius Johnson. I'm an idiot. I'm a dummy. So yeah,
So
the best fighter on the planet. I forgot him. Like I forgot the
yeah.
best. I forgot the pound for pound best
Oh
guy on the
yeah,
planet.
Garbrandt. Yeah, Garbrandt.
Yeah, and Garbrandt. So it's three of them
Yeah,
now. But
yeah,
still, it's not very many.
yeah,
Back in the day, there was only 5 weight classes, and all 5 were Americans.
yeah. There you
Now
go.
it's like. So I
Like,
totally get it.
like
I
both.
understand.
Right? Stipe. Oh, he always has that flag though from somewhere.
Croatia.
Oh, okay, but he's American born,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. He's born and raised in Ohio. But yeah, so
Okay.
it's not a bad ratio. It's still there's quite a
Yeah,
bit that
but
get dropped off.
it's still a lot of there's still a lot of people
Yeah.
from other countries.
And half the runner ups and half the number one contenders, half the people in the top five, like it's a melee. Nothing's gonna happen. I mean, they were talking about Gegard Mousasi not being able to get in for the fight in because he's gonna kill me if I'm wrong. He's Iranian born but lives in the Netherlands, and he's on a visa coming to the U.S. And they're like they could block him. They could the U.S. could physically block him from coming in. But
Yeah,
you know, Dana White
yeah.
supported
Dana
Trump.
Dana won't let that happen.
Yeah,
They're
yeah, you know.
buddies. They're
They're gonna take
good
care of
friends.
each other. That's how they do
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, Angela, thanks so much for coming on here. I appreciate spending time with us. It was great to interview. I'm gonna get you next time. I talked to Brian. I'm gonna get you next time fight week.
Cool.
So because you're super happy all the time, I want to see if we can't get you a little angst, a little irritated. You know,
Not
get ready to make weight
not
and got a
now.
fight coming up.
Nope.
Never. Oh,
Nope.
I
Just a
bet you we
little
talked to your
bit.
husband. I bet you we talked to your husband have a couple of times. You're not very happy.
Oh well, he's the nervous one. He takes all the nerves for me, so I'm like all like do 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 do, and he's like freak. So I thank
That's
him for taking the nerves for me.
that's awesome. All right, Angela, have a great rest of your a great week. Have fun with your time off, and I can't wait to see you next fight.
Awesome. Thanks a lot. Thanks for interviewing me.
You got it. Take care.
All right. Enjoy Dishonored.